La-di-da-di, we've got an exclusive interview with the one and only Dougie Fresh.
And the most sophisticated cocktails made just for you right here in D.C.
All that and so much more coming up on this edition of We Are Washington. Welcome to We Are Washington. Pioneering hip-hop artist Dougie Fresh is among the most sampled artists of our time. Known as a human beatbox, he shot to fame with classic hip-hop songs in the 80s that continue to influence artists today. But as you'll see, Dougie Fresh is as down-to-earth as he is talented. We caught up with him when he performed in D.C. for Richard Wright Public Charter School students. We'll bring you our exclusive interview and some of his unforgettable performance.
And two local women are changing the cocktail game in the district with sophisticated single-serve craft cocktails to go. That's all coming up, but first, let's get to the news rundown. Mayor Muriel Bowser kicked off Housing Week 2017 with a groundbreaking ceremony at the former site of the R.L. Christian Library on H Street. The new mixed-use development will feature 33 affordable housing units in Ward 6, along with ground-level retail spaces.
The $138 million that will be invested in new units on the preservation of units will help people like Phil and people who live all around H Street Northeast who want the opportunity to stay and grow in their own neighborhoods.
We are seeing and celebrating so much growth, so many businesses opening, so much happening. More important, we've got to make sure that this is a place where every family and every resident can see their future and be able to call this home. So I'm very excited by this because I think this project will help deliver so that families in D.C., families along H Street know that this future is for everybody.
The district is making it easier for law enforcement and first responders to buy their very first home in D.C.
District employees in specific agencies, including members of the Metropolitan Police Department and Fire and EMS, will be eligible for up to $45,000 in benefits towards the purchase of a home in the district. The benefits are the result of enhancements to the employer-assisted housing program.
Through this program, we will make it easier for public service employees, including our police who are here, firefighters, emergency medical technicians, and teachers, to get the resources they need to buy their first home.
I was just so grateful that we had a home in the district, that my daughter can grow up in D.C. like I did, that my wife had a home that she wanted, that she liked, that she was looking forward to decorating and everything like that. So it was a blessing. It's not much more than that I can say.
The Housing Assistance Program is designed to help recruit and retain talent in D.C. It was a party on the way to school as students from Capitol Hill celebrated International Walk to School Day. The Eastern High Marching Band, cheerleaders, teachers, and parents, and some special VIPs gathered at Lincoln Park to encourage the students to make walking to school a part of a healthy and fun routine all year long.
Students from Richard Wright Public Charter School showed off their best dance moves at a kickoff event for the 6th year of the Man the Block initiative, which provides safe passage to and from school.
I recognize that I needed to get enough adults out there to support this effort at our metro stops and the route they take to get home. And so I figured, why not create a Man the Block, give it a good title, make sure that we have all adults involved and open it up to the community so we can all support our kids.
The D.C. Public Education Fund has invested $120 million over the last decade to support innovative education programs in the district. Mayor Bowser commemorated 10 years of the D.C. Public Education Fund at a forum at Dunbar High School. The season of giving is officially underway for district government employees with the DC One Fund kickoff. This is the 63rd annual DC One Fund campaign, which was started to give DC government employees an opportunity to give back to their community.
Building upon the stunning success of the revitalization of H Street is the goal of H Street Main Street. At a panel discussion, community leaders and residents explored ideas to support local business and attract new business to the H Street corridor.
The next chapter really is to bring 8th Street, Blakenburg Road, and Bing together. You look at all the success that 8th Street has had, how can we spill that over to Blakenburg Road and Benning Road? You look at Heck and Jamal, how can Heck and Jamal be re-imaged and revitalized? How you can connect the old training center, the old school, Spingarn School, the golf course, and all of that on Benning Road together? How can you re-image Blakenburg Road, re-image it as a garden district? How can you connect all that together and really make it one enjoyable, walkable, workable area? And I think that can happen.
8th Street Main Street was created in 2002 as part of the DC Main Streets program. It was the perfect day for jazz lovers to gather at Garfield Park in Southeast for the inaugural Hill Fest.
The Capitol Hill Jazz Foundation's Hill Fest featured a day-long concert in the park. Musician Frank McComb headlined the festival with 5 other national and local acts. Hill Fest kicked off with a conference where artists gathered to address how policy impacts musicians.
We've been able to make some great strides, and we've been really trying to fill a gap between the government, the players, and the presenters on the scene from a nonprofit, education, and for-profit standpoint.
Tyler Perry hit the red carpet here in D.C. to promote his new movie, Boo 2, A Madea Halloween. The screening was held at Matza Gallery in Friendship Heights. Boo 2 is part of Tyler Perry's Madea franchise, which now includes 11 films, including A Madea Christmas.
What I love DC. DC's always been good to me. Played Constitution Hall and the Warner a lot.
Plenty of items to choose from today for the news recap. We were just talking about Tyler Perry and his arrival in D.C. for the screening, right?
And I love it that he basically has a movie for every holiday.
Right,
There's going to be a Madea Easter. There's going to be, a Madea Passover, just anything you can imagine.
Yeah, there should be. And all of your favorite characters are back. Hattie, Joe.
I know you're a big fan.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And you know what I like about Tyler Perry on the red carpet is that he's just about, wanting the audience to have a good time. It's, he doesn't take himself or his movies too seriously. He just wants, families to come together and enjoy themselves. And, there's so many horror movies that are really actually terrifying. And it's for me, it's not a pleasant experience, but it's fun to have something where you can all go, laugh together and enjoy yourselves and not be scared when you're trying to, go to sleep at night.
Sure, absolutely. So moving on, Man the Block event. This is an initiative that's been going on for a couple of years now, but it's always interesting to touch on and then talk about how Dr. Marco Clark at Richard Wright started this initiative to make sure that his students could get from school back home safely because there was the threat of violence and anything else that you shouldn't have to worry about when you're that age and just trying to go get an education. So this is a really, really interesting thing that he's gotten a lot of grassroots, ground level support from people to come and show up and support that way.
It's really important because it's something that it might not occur to adults that students might be in class and really dreading, walking home, getting home on the bus because they're afraid of getting, robbed or beat up. So great program. Great to also see the kids out celebrating International Walk to School Day. You can see how much fun it is for them and get to go to school with the mayor, walk to school with the mayor but just
that was there and
they made it a good time. But I do think kids can benefit so much from that. Just that exercise in the morning and enjoying. It's a great way to start off the day, and it's a little bit of independence.
A little bit of independence, walk to school, little exercise, all good things, absolutely.
Yes.
All right, well, coming up next, the one and only Dougie Fresh.
And later in the show, Cocktails Reimagined, brought to you by 2 district entrepreneurs.
Welcome back to We Are Washington. Students at Richard Wright Public Charter School got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do the Dougie next to Dougie.
It was an unforgettable performance by Dougie Fresh, who stopped by the Man the Block party to show his support for the students and the initiative. And as you'll see, the human beatbox has still got it. Take a look. Why'd you want to be here to support Man the Block?
Well, first of all, I love D.C. I love the people of D.C. And I think that it shows the unity and it shows how every kid, whether directly or indirectly, is your kid. It's your child. And together, collectively, we can save a lot of these kids from getting into drama, chaos, or somebody doing them some harm. So I felt that this was a good thing for me to come down to do.
You have children yourself.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
a dad, so you really understand what these kids go through.
The world is a different place. You know, I want to send love and blessings to the people whose family was affected by Las Vegas. And that in itself is an example of the kind of world that we're living in now. So when you have things like this that are positive, like Man in the Block, Safe Passage, we need to get behind stuff like this and support it, because this is pro-life. This is about guiding our children and protecting them and making sure that nothing happens to them. And I'm about that.
Been in hip hop a long time. How have you been able to stay positive and healthy and relevant all these years? What's your advice?
Number one, you know, my mother, my father, you know, they brought me up a particular way. You know, my principles, my morals, my ethics is different than a lot of people. You know, I try to eat well. You know, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I run like 5 miles a day. Basically, my message has never changed. And I think whether I'm from one generation or the next, the consistency of the message is the same. There's people that still feel the way that I feel, that grew up like I did, who's raising their children like we grew up. So I just communicate that message. I don't have to change who I am. And knowing how to Dougie, and the younger kids knowing how to do the Dougie, that does help.
Show them how to Dougie, show them how to Dougie, show them.
You have to tell me how you can beatbox like that. I mean, you are the human beatbox, because that. Is that something you can teach, or you think you just have a gift?
Well, I would recommend, I would put a warning sticker on this one. Don't try it to that extreme. Learn gradually, but it's an art. It's the fifth element of hip hop, and you know, I'm glad that I was blessed to be able to present it. You know what I mean? And kids all over the world come to me, and they love it, and I think it's a great thing. It keeps you out of trouble, and they let you know that your spirit is a human instrument.
As you can see, most definitely, we are Will Fernandez, Brigadier, and I am the original human beatbox, the greatest entertainer, Doug E. Richard Wright, I love you for having me.
Great beatbox tips from
Can
the
you
best.
believe that?
Then you got the lesson right up close.
I think I got a warning not to try that at home. I think that's what he was kind of trying to tell me. But I was so impressed because, you know, I imagine the breath control you have to have. And he did say he runs every day. And I imagine you have to be in great shape. So nice to see, you know, an artist who's stayed in such great shape and has such a positive attitude and really loves to be with the young people, you know.
Disciplined to be able to do that, too, like you said. And it did actually, now that you mention it, it did sound more like a warning. You're right. Yeah.
You know, please, you don't need to do this.
You're right. All right, well, coming up next, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Cocktail Hour, made in D.C. Don't go away. Welcome back to We Are Washington. We're here at the Mess Hall Incubator Kitchen today because I'm talking to two entrepreneurs who are creating something made in DC that I think you're going to find really cool. So, Shayla Hamlin, Amanda Sussex, thanks for having us here today. And tell us a little bit about what you have. Bring Your Own Cocktail. What is it? Tell me a little bit more.
So Bring Your Own Cocktail is a new business based here right in DC. We make single-serve craft cocktails using alcohol from the local distilleries. So we use the local distilled spirits, fresh pressed juices, scratch-made simple serves to make a delicious cocktail that you could kind of take and enjoy anywhere at any time.
When you guys created this and you had this idea, what problem were you looking to solve? What sort of market were you looking to serve with your product here?
Sure, so we would be out at events, we'd be at ball games, wine festivals, concerts, and what was available to us was beer or bad wine, and we don't drink either of those things. And so we love a good craft cocktail. We love what's happening on the cocktail scene in DC. And so we wanted to be able to enjoy that high quality cocktail that we get at our favorite local cocktail bars anywhere. And so we thought, wine has gone into cool single serve packaging. Our favorite cold brew has gone into single serve packaging. So why can't we come up with a solution to get that cocktail anywhere?
So you're making your product in DC, but you're also putting an emphasis on getting your ingredients from other places here in the district. So tell me a little bit about why that's important to you guys.
Yeah, that's very important because there have been a lot of different distilleries that popped up around the city, and they make fantastic and high quality spirits, better than some of your big box brands. And so we definitely wanted to keep it local. DC residents really support local, so we definitely, whenever possible, try to use all local spirits.
What got you guys to make that jump and to make that leap and to make your own product here that you have today?
Sure. So Shayla and I are definitely women of action, so we don't like to talk about anything for too long.
Yeah.
So once we had the product idea, we did market research and realized there weren't any real competitors on the market doing the craft cocktail that we wanted to do. So we got right into the licensing process. We did a ton of research, started filing everything. We were a little naive on the turnaround, but approximately a year after we came up with the idea, we were licensed and ready to sell.
Tell me a little bit about what it's sort of been like from the beginning to where you are right now, and sort of how you see your business growing from here.
So the response to our product has been phenomenal. It does take a lot of product education. So when we're in retailers, we do a lot of tastings to get people to really know what the product is about, bring attention to the product. People are used to the, very sugary, low alcohol content, wine coolers, and this is something totally different. This is a craft cocktail that you could drink straight out the bottle. So it has a high alcohol content you get at a nice bar.
Yeah.
So we're in about 20 retailers throughout DC right now. We're looking to get into more fast casuals around the cities. Some bars around the cities have actually reached out to us and interested in the product.
It's the perfect solution to going to a friend's house, hosting a dinner party, or even if you're cooking, ordering in Uber Eats. You don't have to worry about it. When I go to a dinner party, I take the spirit that everyone enjoys. So if the wife drinks vodka and the husband drinks rum, that's fine, you bring it. You don't have to worry about people going with something they don't want.
All right, so we've been talking about the drinks, but tell me a little bit about what we're looking at. I want to know about the exciting part of the business here. Tell me what you have.
Yeah, so let's get to the cocktail. So we have our C-Sweet Margarita, our Zen and Cucumber, and then our District Mule. So these are our flagship flavors, and so these will be available all year round. We also introduce seasonal flavors depending on what produce is in season. So this summer we also had a watermelon and vodka cocktail, and then also a pineapple and rum. So this fall we'll introduce a pumpkin cocktail in the next week or so, and then for the holidays we'll have another.
All right, Shayla, Amanda, thank you so much for having us out and sharing your product with us. That was a quick cocktail.
Just shake, sip, repeat.
Thanks, guys. They have a great business, really cool concept, and the one thing I want to go back and underscore about them and what they're doing is that it's made in DC, and it's important to them that they are doing business with DC people and that they're continuing to grow in a way that is in that same mold.
Great for the city, and I'm looking forward to sampling the merchandise.
Right.
That's all the time we have for this show, but we do have time for one last thing.
Okay, one last thing today. In preparing for this show, one of the stories that we talked about, the Walk to School event that we were doing, I came across some footage that we had from Lincoln Park with a statue, and the statue kept on catching my eye every time we went back to the different video clips that we had. And the statue, I actually looked at it a little bit. It's of a person named Mary McLeod Bethune, who's actually very fitting for the event Walk to School because she was an educator, but also a civil rights activist and the first African-American woman to have a monument built for her inside of the district. That's according to the National Park Service. So I thought it was really interesting, but we also had some great images that we're going to leave you with at the end of the show today too, from our photographer Oscar Vegas, who did a great job capturing that right at dawn.
All our photographers are great.
Yes.
But I'm glad we got to feature one of them for some beautiful footage.
Yeah.
So looking forward to seeing that.
Absolutely. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. But we'd like to remind you to check out all of our programming, not just our show, but everything else we have to offer at DCN. So make sure to search on YouTube, Entertain DC, and listen to DC Radio at 96.3 HD4.
See you next time.